Johnny Fontana, Real World INFJ. I wanted to have a somewhat serious conversation with INFJs here, man. This is a really weird topic of discussion because of the fact that not too many people do this, right? I mean, not too many really people, not too many. Well, I would say not too many. Yeah, generally speaking, you don't have too many people sit here and have discussions with their counter personality types, right? It's kind of weird to be doing that anyway, but nonetheless, I'm doing it because I'm a little frustrated, because I'm seeing certain things that I'm not happy with, right? Um, and it goes back to the book. If you read the book, you'll understand why I'm not happy. The reason why I'm not happy is because, first of all, I don't come in contact with INFJs. Okay, I mean, I may, but I don't know because I don't do the whole MBTI. I don't sit here and try to figure out who's who, whatever. Only time I do that is when I'm doing research, right? So recently, especially on the boards, because this is the only place where I engage with personality types is on boards, and I've been noticing that I've been noticing that certain the T types like the INTJs, just like a lot of the T's, right? They're very stats driven, stats, which is fine, which is great. You know, when it's time for you shine with that stats because we all have our abilities, our specialties, right? But then I also noticed that when I want to shine, not that I need praise or knowledge for it, acknowledgement, but when I want to shine and be able to introduce my ideas when it comes to human dynamics, social dynamics, understanding, relations and so forth, and interpreting and introducing those insights, the T types they get very angry. It's like for me, I can acknowledge them, like, yo, like that's some good stuff. Even though I have some individuals that I really don't, particularly like or I'm not really fond of, but I will give you your credit. Be like, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, sometimes I do it because I'm throwing that diamond there, right? You gotta do what you gotta do, right? INFJs know what I'm talking about, because you never let them know what is on your mind or your motive is. Um, but but yeah, so I'm realizing that they've been doing some crazy stuff and they get all upset, and the reason why is because they don't have any answer. Because they see things like flowchart, they see stats, percentage. That's why they always bring out, oh, I need facts. Where are you coming from? This, that, and facts. It's like, yeah, there's certain things that you just can't compute, and the world does not evolve strictly around numbers because we have people, right? That's why the elections this year, a lot of it has nothing to do with policy because people are tired of the status quo and now they want someone that they can relate to that can bring them about change and so forth. So you have a lot of one voter issues or one issue voters and so forth. But anyway, that's another video. So in regards to them, I'm starting to do research and I'm starting to make connections and I'm realizing certain things and I'm like, now I see. And I'm looking at certain INFJs, analyze the T's and the INTJs and the ENTPs, and they're coming up with the same results, but they're better able to articulate it. But I just understood it and saw it beforehand. They just sort of confirmed it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on. But that's the only time that I do research, and I guarantee that if I'm not on the boards anymore, I'm not going to really pay attention to ENTPs or T's or whatever because I just, I don't really care because I'm not using it at that, and it's just waste of information, right? Now here we go. But here's the problem that I'm having with the INFJs. I see too often that we're not engaging ourselves, our strengths, our abilities, right? Because if you read the book, all right, you talk about 1%. I mean, and the thing is, especially when you are you are a personality type. Like when I'm out, when I'm on different like websites, when I'm on fitness sites, music sites, forums, and so forth, you have conversations, and I don't like my subconscious lens doesn't. I don't think about who I'm dealing with, or if that person's an ESTP. I don't do the whole MBTI alphabet soup. Like I just have a discussion as if that person understands what what we're discussing, whether it be politics, whether it be sports, fitness, music, fashion, what have you, sneakers, school and career fields. All right, I don't go into the whole MBTI, but personality cafe. Everyone wears their personality types on their sleeves, right? So you have no choice but to look and see, like, oh, okay, this person's the ENTP, this person's a, IN whatever, this is the S and whatever. So then everyone breaks out the FE and the SE and the alphabet soup, which is fine. I just don't do it. But with that being said, I'm like, I'm just a little frustrated with the way that the INFJs go about doing certain things. So sometimes I'll just drop like a dime, right, in the lake, and I just want to see the ripple. And I'm like, okay, so what are we doing to sharpen our skills, to sharpen our abilities, right? Because if you look on, on paper, oh, counselors, protectors, we have great insight. We can do this, do that, do that. But then when you have these conversations with these individuals online, it's like everything seems to be one-dimensional and working within their own immediate space. And I see this too often. And I think maybe you think because people are in school, we have young individuals, but this is primarily why I'm making this video, is to sort of say, listen, we need to start. Because I mean, if you are on here, you're going to be engaging, that we need to start realizing, because I know that it took me a while, right, to start. I didn't realize what INFJ was until 2 years ago. And I'm 39 years old. I know I look 28, but I didn't realize what MBTI was until, about 2 years ago. So with that being said, I'm losing my train of thought because a train just passed by. So the bottom line is that when I see individuals engaging, it's like everything seems to be within their own immediate space. And I'll give you a prime example. Like, you have a lot of questions about, just like maybe like questions that, which is fine, but everything sort of revolves around like immediate spaces and like I, and then like, do you do this or do you do that, or do INFJs do this or do INFJs do this, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so where's the actual real world activities? Like, where's the real world conversations? Like, how are we discussing, what's happening in the world? Like when I, and the thing is, the only way that I can get that is to go to the current events. But when I go to the current events, I'm met with all these T's. And when I want to have these discussions that revolve around human dynamics, I can't, because if I don't bring out the stacks, if I don't bring out the stats, then they get upset and they start yelling at me because they have no other answers but stats. So I like to do that on the INFJ forums, but the INFJ forums, you guys don't really converse. You don't really have these conversations, right? So when someone says, hey, like today, an NTP went on and was like, hey, I want to know what the INFJ's view on Tinder is. And, if you get a little horny, such and such, boom, boom. Now, because I'm a DJ as well, right? Multi-talented, half amazing. I mean, I'm just saying that, but that's what we all do, right? We all have our own different talents and so forth and so on. And that's what I do. I also coach and I consult DJs and nightclubs in order to pair music with different crowds, dynamics, settings, time, location of a venue, and so forth, because it's all different. Lighting affects the different moods. And so you have to be able to read the crowd, not only read the crowd, the dynamics, but read the timeline, depending on how long you're playing for. So you have to know your crowd. You have to do that research. So it's the same thing when someone asks you a question. Sometimes you may need to do that research, right? So if an NTP asks you, then you look at the profile of an NTP and they say, okay, this person may like to engage in risky behavior. So when a person asks for an INFJ's view, guess what? It's mainly because they want a deeper insight. They want to know, okay, Tinder, I want an INFJ's perspective on the social dynamics of Tinder. Like, for example, how does it relate uh, to last year or years before the advance of technology, right? How do you approach individuals? How has Tinder affected the human mind? How has it altered our approach? Has it made us lazy when it comes to certain things? Just going everywhere and tapping in on different places and engaging and evolving the conversation and taking in different places, right? Based on our experiences and our world exposures, right? And our knowledge. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be a counselor, if you're going to be a protector according to the book, right? Then if someone comes into your office, you have to have world knowledge. You can't just be like, you know, well, such and such according to the book. No, you have to be able to apply real world knowledge and pair it with the book and provide that advice and counsel, right? But instead on these forums, it's like, well, I don't engage in this. INFJs, we would never do that. I. And then now the OP will never return, okay, because the OP is not interested in personal digest. The OP is interested in, okay, what is the perspective of the INFJ? Because I read the book on INFJ, and INFJ seems to know a lot of people, knows various components and how to pair, and make connections and have better understanding in terms of reading people, having better intuition, and so forth and so on. So they probably should have known my question coming 10 minutes ago, joking, right? But seriously, yeah. So, but yet, the only thing the person gets is I don't, and my perspective in terms of my experiences, which is fine to have your own perspective, but it's what the person is actually, and you have to understand. You have to know where a person's coming from when they ask these questions. They're not really asking, "Oh, I want to know how do you feel about it." They want to know, "No, I want to know. Talk to me about this Tinder thing. Like, I want to go deep. Like, give me some good insight." They may never come back, but they may be reading. But if you're only talking about, "Oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. That's just disgusting. Oh no, me and Tinder, that relationship does not exist." It's like, who the heck wants to come to you for counsel? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I've had my exposures, right? And maybe it's by default. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm on here explaining. I've lived in 7 different countries. I've come from various cultures. I've been exposed to so many different career fields. So when I was in Thailand, okay, yeah, you can go into a bar and order a beer and have fellatio in one sitting right there, and it's totally legal. You can go to another place and you can order a beer and order two women in various costumes, because that's legal over there, right? But over here in the States, I would never do that. But then when you see these Americans, they come on assignment. They work for the embassy or their IT guys, and I have a wife and children back home. I would never engage in such activities. And yeah, 2 weeks later, you see them with a little Asian woman under their arms. See what I'm saying to you? So like, let's cut the crap. Cut the crap. Because the thing is that we are INFJs, all right? If we're reading the book, if you so-called an INFJ and you read the book, then if I ask you, okay, so what are we doing to sharpen our skills and sharpen our talents? And the only answer that I can get is, oh, well, I haven't been doing any of that. Or I'm dull. I've been doing this and I've been doing that. I want greater insight. I want to know what are you doing to save the world? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not asking for just superficial answers, for surface answers. And you should know this. I'm not saying that I'm not imposing right now, like saying, "Oh, you should be doing this, like you're messed up." I'm saying, no, like, you should know this. So if you don't, you need to be working on that as well. So if I ask you a question, okay, I'm not the be all end all. I'm not saying that. But guess what? Who actually is doing this right now? I'm actually talking to you because right now my subconscious lens is wide. I'm thinking about the forums right now. Like who would ever, there aren't too many people that say that kind of stuff. So yeah, the 1% does exist. And the fact that I'm talking to a video camera, talking indirectly because I'm thinking, my subconscious lens is wide right now because I'm thinking I'm talking to you on the forums through this video. You see what I'm saying to you? So yeah, and like we're discussing, I'm giving people my advice according to my own personality type, which is crazy because most people don't do that. If I told my dad I was doing this, my dad would think he's a ESTJ or something like that. Very boss, very very like if you come to him, you can't have emotions. You have to know exactly what you want because he's not gonna take anything, whatever. If you give him all these he doesn't like all these big ideas. Like if you cut you off, no. You too many big ideas. Just give me straight and forward and boom. Right? Like he'd be like, well, you're fucking crazy. What are you doing you're wasting time talking to these people online. What is that going to give to you? Is that going to give you a token, a ticket on the next train? That's his favorite line. But I'm doing it. So yeah, so I'm there myself, and I'm in that weird realm myself. But it's because I'm doing it because I want to help. You see what I'm saying to you? Because I've been exposed to a lot. I've had to blow past doors. I've had to, like when I first got my taste, and the thing is, I don't like to reveal myself totally because I like to just sort of slip certain things in there, but I don't want to give myself up. And that's another thing. Too many INFJs are always wearing their emotions on their sleeve and they give themselves up. Oh, I don't do anything. I'm dull right now. You never give up your weaknesses, man. Never tell anyone that you're not sharpening your skills. You're not doing what you need to be doing. If you're not doing it, then you just don't answer. Period. You see what I'm saying to you? Number one rule to being an INFJ is never let them know that you're hurting. The number two rule to being an INFJ is you never leave your wingman alone. Right? You never ever give up your weakness. Never show them that you're hurting. Well, according to the book, right? According to the book, we're secretive. But yet, if we're so secretive, but at the same time, like that paradox, like that's the number three rule. You never talk about the INFJ paradox. Because what does that come back to? It leads back to number one, revealing who you are and letting them know that you're hurting. You see what I'm saying to you? Like the fact that I'm actually saying this is crazy. It's weird. But I'm doing it because that's who I am. That's who we are. Because I care. So the bottom line is this, and I'm supposed to be in the gym right now and I'm wasting time. Not wasting time, but time is going by because I needed to get this in. I have half hour to work out, which I can because I'm determined like that. But like I said, I mean, there are more videos. I'm going to be a little bit more, I know I keep saying it's kind of difficult because I have so much going on between school, work, DJing, family, videos, for tutorials, for other stuff, just so much. But the thing is, I've been exposed and I was pushed early on in my life, 19, right? When I got involved in various career fields. I was dealing with a lot of A-type personalities and that pushed me. And guess what? I wasn't ready for it because I was always wondering, how come these guys are more developed than me and they understand what's going on and I'm here, I don't understand. It took a while for it to click, right? But guess what? I'm glad now because now I can continue to push forward. And even every time that I'm met with these adversities, I'm able to apply my previous learnings, right? Connect the patterns and be like, oh, that's why. Like, you see what I'm saying to you? So when I speak, especially on the forums, and when I say certain things, you have to be able to pick up on these because I'm not going to reveal everything, But you have to be able to pick up and say, oh, and he knows a lot about that. So if he knows a lot about that, that probably means that. But a lot of people don't. They don't pick up on that. And they'll be like, oh, you're on your high horse. It's not that I'm on my high horse. It's just because I have 25 years of experience. But I'm not telling you openly that I have 25 years of experience because I like that sense of, mystery, secrecy. I don't like to let, because I'm not a high horse guy. I am when I'm passionate, but I don't like praise. I don't like people coming up to me and praising me. When I'm DJing, I don't like people looking at me and saying, oh, I'm not, that's why I wouldn't become a rock star. Because I don't like people praising me, and in this social media, I like social media to, post and run. But I don't like sitting there and reading comments and having people praise me. Oh, Johnny, you this. No, it's like, no, don't. No, I don't need that. Don't praise me. That's one thing. I'll be like, yo, because if I get too many praises, I start shutting down. Because that's not me. That's not what I'm about. But anyway, no, the reason why I had to, very often give you all these little things is that you can start relating, be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's, because sometimes, like, I'm taking a writing course right now, and when I write, you have to sort of go back and forth and sort of keep people informed of what the original topic is, right? So sometimes you just keep on going with information, and you don't go back. So that's why I throw in these little things so you can still register, oh, INFJ, 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 INFJ. That's what an INFJ would think, or, so forth and so on. But anyway, I'm about to wrap it up because I'm about to go into the gym. Johnny Fontana, Real World INFJ. We out.